Billy?
Billy Wayne.
He's dead. 8 ball in the side. Out in the woods that night, 2 people were killed. A missing payoff. So you figured Tessman. He was with Billy the night he died. He told him nothing. You love this guy?
What's love?
I want you to laugh for bright! They could have killed you, but they didn't.
It had nothing to do with Billy's death.
He's always been afraid. He'll never change.
Yeah, it was the kid.
I don't like to be taken by anybody.
Once upon a time, on a very dark night in the middle of a lonely forest, there was this kid who was good at being in places where he shouldn't. This time it was once too often. His name was Billy Wayne, and somebody had hired him to drive deep into the woods and make a pickup. A giant pile of dirty money, 1 bag full.
They should be here any minute.
Billy and his wicked companion watched carefully as another car came with men who wanted the bag full of riches. It wasn't long before the men disappeared into the trees. And then Billy's companion went after them.
Wait here.
After a while, yet another car came with the men who had the bag. But Billy's companion wanted it too. So everyone was in for a great surprise, including Billy. For out of the forest came a big bad double-cross, and Billy didn't live happily ever after.
The money's in the trunk. Go, Billy.
Those days when I had to skip breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The weekend games were coming, and I needed to bone up on the point spreads.
Mike, Mr. Tessman's here.
Who?
Albert Tessman. You made an appointment with him?
I did.
That's what I get for taking a lunch break. Mr. Tessman, you can come in now.
Mr. Tessman, what can I do for you? Where'd you get this?
In jail. I'm just out, 6 years on an extortion rap.
So tell me about the knife.
You recognize it?
I gave it to a kid named Billy Wayne 5 or 6 years ago. I was his counselor in the NYPD youth program.
He's giving it back. He won't need it anymore. He's dead.
What?
Died in a prison ward of Manhattan General 6 weeks ago. I was the night man on the ward.
How did he die?
Lead poisoning. They took 5 bullets out of his body, 2 more they couldn't get to.
What was he doing on the ward?
Violation of probation. Felony car theft. He knew he was dying. I guess he was disposing of his last effects, emptying his pockets. He wanted me to give you the knife.
Did he give you anything else?
Well, not much. This.
Who's the other kid?
His buddy, I guess. He said his name was Frankie Dumont. I'm supposed to bring it to him.
Did you get an address?
He hangs out at Pushy's. Pool room on the Lower East Side.
Listen, would you mind if I delivered this?
Why not? You'd probably get it to him quicker than I would.
Where can I reach her?
You can't. The only reason I'm here is I promised the kid I'd drop these off. I'll be cutting out. Good luck.
My first stop was the pool hall where he had once hung out with his buddy Frankie Dumont.
You looking for a game?
I wouldn't want to take your money, pal. I'm looking for Frankie Dumont.
I don't guess we got a Frankie Dumont around here. In fact, I never heard of him.
That's too bad. He's gonna miss out.
Miss out? On what?
Oh, nothing. A small inheritance.
Frankie?
I thought you never heard of him.
You looking for me?
You Frankie Dumont?
Yeah, who are you?
I'm a friend of Billy Wayne's.
So?
He got hit. He's dead.
What?
I thought maybe you might know who did it.
How should I know?
You were his pal, weren't you?
Me? I barely knew him.
Billy wanted you to have this.
I don't want it.
Look at the picture, Frankie. You guys were the 2 musketeers. You would have known everything he was into. What was he, running bets in the back room just like you?
No. He was smarter than that. He wouldn't do that.
What was he into? Who was he working for?
Look, I told you, I don't know anything.
Hey, what are you doing?
What are you running from, kid? Listen, Billy trusted you. You were one of the few friends he had.
All right. Just check out a lawyer named Leo Raffo. Okay?
Leo Raffo. Okay, thanks. Keep your nose clean. I've known kids like this all my life. When I was their age, I was one of them. The times were more innocent then, and so were we. Sure, we got into trouble. But we didn't have guns, we didn't have drugs, we didn't have crippling resentment of God knows what. And a lot of us survived. I would have bet Billy Wayne was a survivor, too. What happened to him? Maybe Leo Raffo could tell me.
Yes?
Leo Wayne?
Well, that depends. Who are you?
My name is Mike Hammer.
Does he know you?
No, but I think it might be nice if we got acquainted.
I don't suppose you have an appointment. He doesn't like people just dropping in.
I understand, but this is important. You'd be doing us both a big favor.
I hope so. Mr. Hammer here to see you.
Tell him to make an appointment.
Nice of you to see me, Leo.
Shut the door on your way out.
Certainly.
Well,
Frankie sent me.
Frankie who?
Frankie Dumont.
You a cop?
You got my card.
Private eye. I don't have to talk to you.
You don't have to do anything but die, pal, but it might be nice if we exchanged a few words before you did.
All right, what do you want?
Kid on the right is Frankie Dumont. Do you know the one on the left?
Who is he?
Name's Billy Wayne.
Name means nothing to me.
I understand he may have done some work for you.
Maybe a lot of kids work for me. Runners and messengers, so what?
So he got himself into a lot of trouble, and I think you may have had something to do with it.
There's the door, Mr. Hammer.
Thanks for the appointment, Leo. You've been a great help. Next time I'll make an appointment. There was something about Raffles' secretary, Mendy, that told me she wasn't just in his life from 9 to 5. Leo didn't know it, but I was going to be in his life for a little while, too. One thing you learn in my business is never tail a guy on the day he does his errands. Leo decided to go to his bank, his laundry, the shoe repair shop, and his tanning salon. But I never mind a tour of the city, especially when it's one of those beautiful Indian summer afternoons that made the Indians sorry they ever gave the place up. Leo's sleazy little law practice must have paid off big. He lived in the Gaylord Apartments, one of those ivory towers on Central Park South. I wondered if his rent included utilities and private bodyguards. My next stop was the police precinct. I was hoping Pat Chambers could tell me more about what had happened to Billy. In between slams to the mat.
Time for a workout, Mike?
Are you nuts? My back still hurts from the last time. I will take some information, though.
Come. According to ballistics, the slugs that killed the kid gave him 3 different guns.
Any idea who fired him?
Nothing. Get himself in a lot of trouble, though.
Yeah. Felony auto theft. He was on probation.
Come. Yeah, the only people showed up at his trial were his mother and his probation officer. We had to lock the kid up in a special ward for his own protection.
His mother? Any idea where I can find her?
Yeah, the address is on top of my desk in the office. Go!
Thanks. Don't worry about a thing, pal. I know a great chiropractor.
Arigato gozaimasu. Sifu.
Emily Wayne was Billy's mother. I never met her, but I remember he talked about her a lot. She grew up in a rough section of Philly. Got pregnant right out of high school. A hit-and-run case, so Billy never knew who his father was. She tried to put Billy up for adoption, but she caught a bad case of mother love and kept him. Her parents were dead, and it was just the two of them. So Emily had to work as a waitress during the day and double shift at the paper mill at night. In the morning, she made Billy's breakfast, packed his lunch, and flooded him with more caring than most kids get from an entire family. Miss Wayne?
Yes?
My name is Mike Hammer. I'd like to talk to you about Billy. You mind if I come in?
Mike Hammer. Billy talked about you. He looked up to you.
I'm sorry about what happened. I remember Billy from better times.
You're the one that gave him that knife he always carried around.
Right. When I first met Billy, he was on his way down. I never saw a kid turn himself around the way he did. I was real proud of him.
Thank you. Would you like to sit down?
Oh, thanks. I guess as time went by, he sort of slipped a little.
Oh, you mean the stolen car? Well, that was his friend.
Who?
His so-called best friend.
Frankie Dumont?
You know him?
I met him. Have you any idea what happened? How he may have gotten shot?
No. In a way, it might have been my fault.
How so?
Well, Mr. Hammer, you see, I have arthritis, and some mornings Billy would see me just barely able to get out of bed. It was very hard for him. And he told me that he was going to take me out of the city to some place where there was sunshine and a drier climate.
So what you're saying is that whatever Billy was into, he was trying to raise money to take care of you. Mrs. Wayne, Billy was a nice kid and I liked him, but there are lots of ways he could raise money. It's not your fault that he chose the one he did.
I suppose you're right.
I can tell you this. Somebody talked him into it, and I'm going to find out who.
Thank you, Mr. Hammer.
Hey! Hey! What's going on?
I was surprised to see Albert Tessman there, and I'm sure Tessman was surprised to see the man in the limo and his rambunctious boys. Whoever they were lodged in my memory. License plate number 624C AFW. Albert was hurt bad. Better call the paramedics. And the look on Emily's face was more than just casual concern.
On A&E.
How you feeling?
Better.
Good. You think your brain's been rattled around enough to tell me what you were doing back there?
I was visiting Billy's mother.
You were going to leave town.
I wanted to see her first. It was the least I could do for the kid.
How about the guys that put you in here? You know who they were?
It's a crazy world. People attack you for no reason these days.
So do seagulls, but they don't usually drive limousines.
Yeah. It's a new wrinkle, isn't it?
Huh. How about the truth, Albert? These guys obviously wanted you. They didn't want just anybody walking down the streets. And they wanted you alive. They could have killed you, but they didn't. Now, I want to know why.
Think I don't?
You were just visiting Billy's mother, right?
That's right.
Well, I saw her face, pal. When those gorillas were working you over, it was the expression of somebody who knew you and somebody who cared about you.
We know each other. I lived there. I lived with her.
Why didn't you tell me that up front?
Would it have mattered? It had nothing to do with Billy's death. It was personal. It still is.
I'm sorry, you'll have to leave now.
You ever heard of a guy named Leo Raffle?
No.
There's an awful lot you don't know, Albert. If something jars your memory, give me a call, huh? You too. Albert was lying through his teeth, but then his teeth didn't seem to be too secure at the moment. He may have been an ex-con, but was he still conning? I was hoping Pat could fill me in.
You know who you're dealing with?
Albert Tessman.
Biggest con man since P.T. Barnum. I wouldn't believe a word he said.
Pat, he spent the last 6 years in the can.
You know what he's been doing those last 6 years? Trying to figure out who he's going to rip off when he gets out. I would watch yourself.
Did you get anything on Billy Wayne?
That's something you might find interesting. The night the kid got hit, we picked up 2 bodies deep in the woods.
Any idea who they were?
runners, mob men. We figured it was a drug ripoff. Somebody tried to cut in. There's no connection to what happened to the kid, but it's quite a coincidence, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. What about Leo Raffle?
Sometimes shyster to the mob, low level.
Meaning what?
Paternity suit, ambulance chaser, whiplash cases. I guess the mob has got the same problems as the rest of America, huh?
Yeah, but their solutions are a lot different. Listen, if Leo Raffle wanted to come into a lot of money, how would he do it?
Beats me. He's got some interest in the junkyard chicken fee. It's your pal.
All right, Hammer, what's your involvement with Dutch Graber?
Dutch Graber? I pulled his finger out of a dike. What are you talking about? Who's Dutch Graber?
He's one of the big boys in the mob, someone we've been trying to put behind bars for about 10 years, without much success, I might add. And suddenly, out of nowhere, you run a check on his license plate? I don't get it. Where do you come in, Hammer?
Hey, Larry, I saw his limo run a red light and thought it was my responsibility to report it, huh?
If you have information leading to the indictment of this man and you withhold this information, I'll have you drawn and quartered in Times Square.
What is the matter with you? Keep him away from the coffee machine. His entire life needs to be decapitated.
Yeah, that's good.
The license plate check confirmed that the mobster Dutch Graber was the same man in the limo whose goons attacked Tessman. Did he have anything to do with Billy's death? Room service. Nice work, kid. Keep the change.
Thanks.
Take it easy, boys.
You got more guts than brains, Greaseball. Mike Hammer, private investigator. You know this, Greaseball?
I know one. I'm looking at it.
I don't like my food messed with.
I'll make a note.
So, what do you want?
You tried to waste somebody that I'm dealing with. A man named Albert Tessman.
Never heard of him.
I was there, pal. I saw you.
Yeah? Never saw you before in my life. What do you want to make, a deal?
I don't make deals, but I do specialize in curiosity. Out in the woods that night, how much did you lose in that payoff? Look, 2 people were killed. A missing payoff and no information. Now, Billy Wayne can't help you. He's stone cold dead. So you figured Tessman. He was with Billy the night he died. You figured he might have told him something, but that's where you had it wrong, Graber. He told him nothing. Let's put it another way. Somebody else found out about that payoff. Maybe somebody in your own organization. Bottom line, Dutch Graber gets taken. Hey, it happens all the time. That's terribly rude. Those are my good shoes.
Throw this garbage out of here.
I was getting tired of rolling downstairs with these guys. I was beginning to feel like a tumbleweed, but I had nobody to blame but myself.
I'll be in touch.
I had broken one of those ironclad rules I learned so early in life. Don't go into the birdcage if you don't want guano on your shoes. But one other thing I'd come away with. Graber's reaction proved I was right about the night Billy got killed. It was a payoff that got intercepted. And somebody had left Billy to take the heat. And I was going to find out who.
Who is it?
It's me, Mindy. I work for Leo. Can I come in?
Sure. How'd you find me?
Somebody at your office named Velma.
Velma.
Yeah.
How'd you get that?
I walked into a door.
A door named Leo?
Look, I just came to tell you that you're on the wrong track.
Of what?
If you think Leo had anything to do with what happened to that kid.
You mean Billy Wayne?
Yeah.
Sit down. What can you tell me about it?
Only that Leo had nothing to do with it.
How do you know?
I saw it in the papers, and we were in Las Vegas when it happened, me and Leo.
You sure about the date?
You can check the hotel register. It was sort of like a honeymoon.
You're married to him?
No, not exactly. I said sort of.
And he sort of likes to slap you around. Huh? Maybe you're just protecting him.
Why would I do that?
Good question.
Anyway, I just came to ask you to leave him alone.
You love this guy?
What's love?
Well, it isn't getting your face bashed in, unless you happen to like that sort of thing. In any event, Leo's in for some hard times. If I was able to find him, so will Graber. You'd better get out while you can still smile.
Goodbye, Mr. Hammer.
Did Mindy really want me to believe Leo Raffle was out of town the night Billy got killed? She wasn't very convincing, and something told me that other lives were in danger. I had to find out more about Raffle, and Frankie Dumont was a good place to start. Hey, Pushy, I want to talk to Frankie.
Frankie hasn't been around much.
Where can I find him?
Anybody got any idea where this guy can find Frankie?
Too bad. Seems like nobody knows. Now, why don't you take a walk?
Fresh air's bad for my feet. Want to shoot some pool?
I want you to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, and I want you to laugh for bright. Now, where is Frankie?
Come on, boys. Betsy's been quiet for a couple of days, and it's not like her. She's just dying to open up. Now, anybody want to hear her sing? Yeah. Frankie.
Fuller Street. Second house from the corner.
Thanks, Pushy. 8 ball on the side. As I was growing up, I spent a lot of time in pool halls, and they always brought back memories. My first cigarette, the first fist in my face, my old Thunder break, and the night I ran 98 balls. Some good buddies, some still alive. The thrill of a 1958 exhibition game between Willie Moscone and Minnesota Fats. A sign above the chalk rack that read, "Don't worry, if you flunk out of school, you still have a trade." And the guys that believed it. Frankie Dumont wouldn't be hanging around pool halls anymore. He'd just be hanging around.
Take a look at that.
Some kind of suicide, all right. First, the kid ties his own hands and feet, tied enough to make deep cuts in his wrists and ankles. Then he hangs himself. Then he unties himself and throws these things aside.
Yeah, pretty sloppy. Whoever killed him certainly wasn't a pro. Maybe you got an idea.
My guess is Leo Raffle.
But he's a lawyer. He kills people with bills, not ropes. Why him?
Right now, it's just a hunch.
Why don't you let me in on your little hunch before somebody else ends up in a body bag?
Well, I got something else. You really want to know?
Yeah.
Take the Jets and lay the points. O'Brien is very hot. See you later. Except when they play Miami or the Rams. It was time to reconnect with Albert Tessman, so I doubled back to the hospital. I was surprised to find it wasn't just his sheets that had been changed.
Are you a doctor?
No?
Well, in that case, I'm ready for my examination.
I don't suppose you know what happened to the man who was in this bed yesterday.
I wish he was still here. I'm so bored.
Oh, if you're looking for Mr. Tessman, he discharged himself a few hours ago.
Thanks. Nurse, this lady has an emergency. She needs a roommate right away.
Mr. Hammer.
Miss Wayne? Is Albert Tessman here?
No, he's not.
You know, he checked himself out of the hospital.
Yes?
I think he was afraid of something. Maybe the goons who put him there in the first place.
He's always been afraid. And he's always run. He'll never change.
He's run from you before.
It's his style.
Well, don't you think it's about time he changed his style?
Help him, Mr. Hammer.
Why should I help him? He tried to con me from the first moment I met him. He saw his opportunity to get his hands on a big payoff, and he went for it. Until he discovered he was in way over his head, he never gave a damn about Billy.
You're wrong, Mr. Hammer.
Am I?
Billy was his son. Albert didn't know himself until Billy got shot.
You never told him?
Who would it have helped? Not Billy. Not Albert. He's not the kind of man who can face responsibility.
So Billy never knew. Mrs. Wayne, where is Albert? Billy deserved a lot better than this, Albert. Who knows? Maybe you could have given it to him.
I never knew he was my son until after he was dead.
Would it have made a difference? Could you really handle being a father?
I never had the chance. It's a tough world.
Sure, it's a tough world. And the best way to live in is to be even stronger. That's something you might have taught Billy.
Well, it's too late.
For him. Not too late for you. It's not too late for Emily.
Emily. You should have seen her when she was younger. Slim, straight, a dancer's body. When she moved, people watched. She loved me.
She still does. Look, Albert, you've spent most of your life running away from things. You've got a choice now. You can either keep running, or you can stop and face reality.
What can I do?
For a start, you can file a complaint against Graber for putting that lump on your head. Simple assault. You do that, and I guarantee you they'll haul him in so fast he won't even know what hit him.
It's too risky. I gotta tell you, everything in me says run.
It's up to you, pal. Albert Tessman couldn't keep running. If I hadn't stopped him, something else was bound to.
What are you doing? Hey!
I always knew that someday I'd be lying in the cemetery. Only I figured it would be less painful and more permanent. It seemed that Dutch Graber had struck again. But this time he'd gotten Tessman along with a piece of my skull.
So, what do you want?
Sorry to interrupt your meal, Graber. It's hard to know when you're in between. All right, inside the closet. Come on. Keep your hands to yourself, boys.
I'd offer you something, but you can see there isn't enough.
Yeah, I noticed. So, Graber, where's Tessman?
Oh, forget it, Hammer. I haven't got him. We're both a little late getting to the hospital.
Why should I believe you?
I don't care what you believe one way or the other. I'll tell you this much. If I had this guy Tessman and I thought he knew something, I'd have squeezed him like a dried-out prune by now. I'll tell you something else. What was taken from me is mine. I got people, and I got serious intent. So don't get in my way anymore. Now get out of here, greaseball.
Any good?
Yeah, so?
Bon appetit. There's an expression which says, eat it today, wear it tomorrow. Well, Greaseball Graber was already wearing his dinner, but I was sure that wouldn't keep him from eating it, too. I realized that Graber knew who nabbed Albert Tessman. It was the same man who took his bag of money and set up Billy Wayne on that fateful night for a ride to the morgue. The Dishonorable Leo Raffle, Esquire.
I'm so glad it's you.
Looks like I got here a little too late.
Oh, he's been feeling a little out of sorts lately.
He's gonna feel a lot worse than that when I get a hold of him. Where is he?
I don't know. No, don't go. Look, Leo's really not a bad guy. It's just that he has these temper tantrums, that's all.
Come on, Mindy, what is it with you?
He said we might get married in the spring.
Why would you want to do that, even if he wasn't lying?
God, I hate him.
I think of a better reason to get married. Gives you a chance to get even with him. Where do I find him?
Down at his junkyard.
Is Tessman with him?
I don't know who Tessman is. I don't know anything about anything. Maybe I was better off. No, wait. I'm going with you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. There's a side gate at the junkyard. I know the combination.
All right, let's go. Mindy seemed to have a lot going for her, but it was tough to figure out why she'd stick with a guy who'd beat her up. I guess every psychiatrist would give you a different answer, and all of them would probably be wrong. I've killed a few women when I've had to, but I've never hit one. And I don't care much for any guy who has. But there comes a time when every man must pay for his sins. Mindy could rest assured, and so could Billy Wayne, that Leo Raffle was about to pay for his.
The office is in a trailer. Just keep on going that way and you'll come to it.
Okay, now here's what I want you to do. Find a telephone, call the police, ask for Captain Pat Chambers. Tell him I'm here.
I don't know what you're doing. Just be careful, okay?
Oh, I thought you were dead.
I was a little worried about you too, pal. Where's Leo?
Getting ready to dig up buried treasure. Then he was figuring on burying me.
All right, let's move.
Let's not. Here on A&E.
Leo Raffle was one of those guys you wouldn't want to buy a used car from, especially one that looked like last Sunday's flapjack. But maybe you'd change your mind if you knew that thousands of dollars were hidden inside. Before Leo took care of Albert Tessman and me, he wanted to dig out the car that had his money. I didn't care much about the dough. It belonged to Dutch Graber, and it was dirty. All I cared about was a pledge I'd made over a little red pocket knife to see Billy Wayne's killers 6 feet under. Slow, Albert. I think I'm beginning to get the picture.
Good, you can fill me in.
It all started with Billy's good friend, Frankie.
What do you mean?
Frankie worked for Leo, did odd jobs for him. We got a piece of information about a payoff.
Graber?
Exactly, payoff to Dutch Graber. He found out about it, he came running to Leo and told him the news about it making some easy money. Said all you have to do is intercept the delivery before it gets to Dutch Graber.
Yeah, sure. And Leo was so grateful that he cut Frankie in for a piece. On one condition.
Right. The condition being that Frankie had to supply the driver. Somebody who was willing to take Graber's heat. Somebody who could act as a decoy.
Billy.
He never had a chance. He was dead the moment Frankie brought him to Leo. You'll have the loot and it's all over. his money.
All right, cover me.
But Leo was determined not to let him get it.
What are you doing? Whatever's in that safe, I owe it to Billy. I'm not leaving without it.
Okay, pal, you're on your own. Leo should have taught his boys not to play with guns. They were shooting and dying like they'd seen too many B gangster movies. Now I felt like I was watching one, too.
Take it easy, Dutch. This wasn't my fault.
Who was it, greaseball? Kid?
Yeah, it was the kids. He came to me with some kind of crazy idea. I knew it wouldn't work.
You know, I gotta hand it to you, greaseball. You're smart. Let the kid drive the car, take the heat, while you take off with my money.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Dutch. Nobody took off with your money. Here it is. It's all there. You can count it. I haven't touched it. Now, wait, Dutch. You don't have to do that. We can work this thing out.
You know what, Shyster? I don't like to be taken by anybody.
Nobody's taking you, Dutch.
Least of all, a greaseball like you.
Oh, look, I said this is a mistake. I'll do anything. I'll make...
I must admit I wasn't sorry to see Leo Raffle go. But he wasn't the only one payable for Billy Wayne's death. And I wasn't going to stop until the whole account was closed. The odds were against me. But I had a way to beat them. There was only one exit out of the junkyard, and they'd have to go through me to get there. I was sure the Big Bang didn't bother Dutch. He was used to hot cars. Tessman looked like he'd been through hell. He almost made a return trip. So long, greaseball. You all right?
Yeah, okay.
How'd you do in there?
Not bad, not bad. I think I better get out of here before the gentleman in blue arrive.
Good idea.
So the same slug that killed Billy Wayne killed Leo Raffle. Same gun, same killer.
The late Dutch Grape.
Whatever happened to Albert Tessman?
He ran off again. Only this time he took somebody with him. Billy Wayne's mother. He's on his honeymoon.
You're kidding. Where are they?
Down in the Bahamas. She likes warm climate, and he came into some money.
You don't think that inheritance had anything to do with the safe at the junkyard, do you?
When'd you ever get a wild idea like that?
Oh, speaking of wild ideas, I know. Don't say it. The game's over.
Do you have an appointment?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
Well, in that case, let's dance. was a good feeling to know that Billy Wayne's troubled spirit had finally been laid to rest. As for me, I could rest tomorrow. Tonight, my spirit was heading for the clouds.
Tonight on Voyages, Walter Cronkite pieces together the amazing story of human evolution. Ape Man at 10 Eastern, 11 Pacific. Now, Remington loses the agency in a poker game. Next on A&E.